Every once in a while, you should actually have a conversation instead of just, what's it like working with Mila? How was the sex? How was the sex? Is that all they're asking? It's like,
it's good for me.
well, the tequila controversy I'm reading on the internet. I'm like, okay, enough of
Is
the
this
tequila
really
controversy.
interesting?
Do you enjoy all this? Have you gotten used to doing all this kind of stuff, or is it still?
I don't think you ever get used to it because, I mean, it's just, I guess it's just dangerous to get into a habit where you're talking and not listening. You know, where you're not asking questions.
Is that what you like as an actor? Is that your way in?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's just always more interesting. I know about me, so it's always more interesting for me to know about you.
So is pushing the envelope part of what you make your choices based on? Do you want to be pushed? Do you want to?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess if something scares me, then it's a clear sign to do it. If I think I can't, that's the reason. If I know I can do something, I don't want to do it.
So you really couldn't do Black Swan? It seems like 23 horrible things at the same time that are hard to do.
Yeah. But not horrible. The good thing was is that all of the challenges were appealing to me. I mean, there's certain challenges that I think I wouldn't necessarily be interested in spending a large period of time doing. But I loved dance so much when I was younger, and I love dancing now. I mean, not obviously I didn't stay with ballet consistently. I just sort of picked it up again for this film, but I loved, you know, going out with my friends and dancing. I loved it as a form of expression. So it was something I really look forward to, all the training.
So do you start on something like this by getting the script, or do you meet with Darren, or?
Well, I met with Darren 9 years ago about the movie. I was 20, and he came. We met, and he told me almost exactly the story of the film. There was no script, but he said, "I have this idea of a movie set in the dance world. It's sort of based on the Dostoevsky story, The Double. I want it to be about ego and sort of that she sees herself in other people, and there's competition, and there's going to be a sex scene with yourself. That's all I know." And then for 9 years, every time I'd see him, I'd be like, "Darren, where's the script? What's going on?" He would do other movies and all this stuff. And then finally, when I was 27, he said, "Okay, we're going to do this." So I started training on my own. There was no money, there was no script. And then he sent me the script. So I was already doing my ballet training, just on faith, because I wanted to work with Darren so badly, and I wanted to do this film so badly. And I would call him up and be like, "Okay, I'm in ballet class, you want to come visit? You know, come watch." And then we got the script, and then we started training more, and then we got money, and then we started training more.
So when you get the script the script part of it shows up, were you immediately taken with it? Were there things you wanted to change, or
Both.
thought about it?
Both. I mean, first of all, the structure was all there. It was very, very carefully. I mean, the way Darren had it, you should have seen his office at the time. It was just index cards laid out all over, and he was like studying the structure of thrillers and how, and reading like classic heroic structures and what moments in the script needed to happen, and really creating this almost graph, you know, of where this character goes and the things that happen on the entire floor of his office. And so the structure was really there. A lot of the dialogue and specifics and details were things that we worked on a lot, but I also knew that Darren is a master at this and was very, very collaborative. So
it sounds like Benjamin had a lot to do with working on those details also.
Yeah, Benjamin Millepied, the choreographer for the film, also was very instrumental in helping everyone understand the dance world, what kinds of things were plausible, what kind of details would be helpful to add. There were.
And did you get that stuff going to dance class at this point, or did you get it when you were in dance class when you were 20 and knew what the pain was of being a dancer?
It was definitely something I picked up in the later dance phase, because when I danced when I was younger, I stopped when I was like 12 or 13, and then I didn't start again until I was 27 when I started training for the film. So it was almost like starting from scratch again. And But it was great because Mary Helen Bowers, who was my teacher and who stayed with me throughout the filming, I mean, she warmed me up for all my stuff. She was really there with me every second of the way. I spent a year with her, and she was in New York City Ballet for 10 years. So training with her 5 hours a day, at least 5 hours a day, because towards the end it was more like 8 hours a day, for a year, I heard a lot of stories. I mean, obviously not only her own, but other people's, and it was really, really helpful for sort of getting this very immersed landscape.
Have you had a role where that's been this immersive, that you've spent this many years or a year?
I've never had such a long gestation period of from when I knew that there was a kernel of an idea to the actual fruition of the film. But I mean, I've definitely doing The Other Boleyn Girl was I was completely in that whole, I read 500 books on Anne Boleyn. So I do try and, because I think it's very helpful just to have all of it in your head, and then be free on set. You do all your work and then you get to show up and be free.
Did you do that early on when you were starting out as an actress? Did you have a method?
No.
You're just kind of winging it?
Yeah, I had no idea. I've definitely learned everything I do by watching the people around me who I respect.
Because it seems like the early roles, that particularly those first three out of your first 5 movies, were kind of iconic moments. I mean, people still are kind of obsessed with you in The Professional, and
Luke
in Beautiful Girls, and it's kind of remarkable that stuff. I mean, it sounds like you were just kind of faking it at that point, doing it.
Well, I've always been an obedient, pleasing child. I was not a rebellious. I've never been rebellious, really. So I think when you have great luck to work with really wonderful people and you do what they tell you to do, it works out well, It's it wouldn't have been good if they were, it was good hands to be in at that point in my career. I mean, between, Luc Besson and then Scott Rosenberg's script for Beautiful Girls, as well as Ted Demme's direction, and to be around people like Jean Reno and Gary Oldman, and then Tim Hutton later. I mean, it was, if you just do what they tell you to do,
That's so good.
It makes sense. Whereas when you're older, it's that process becomes much more. It's just much more interesting. You're always still serving your director's vision, but it's just more interesting when you can bring stuff too, and it's so great when directors welcome that, and I'll still always try what a director asks me to try, and that's why I'm careful about who I'll work with, because I don't want to work with anyone that I'm gonna be clashing with, because there's no energy for that on a film.
So have you read scripts and said, I'd love to do that role, but I'm just not connecting with that director, it's not going to work? Spelled out?
Yeah.
Because it does, I mean, those early films, it seemed like there's a connection to you personally. I guess it's just, we like Natalie, that's why we like this character, that's why we like that person. Well, there's something about being a movie star versus being an actor, and your career kind of feels like it's evolved into more and more challenging,
thank you,
not Natalie Portman roles.
Thanks.
As you go along, are you conscious of that? Do you think about it?
Well, I was definitely more I think I was kind of a show-offy little kid, and I'm kind of a more private adult, as I'm sure is natural with aging alone, and also is probably natural from then all of a sudden people actually being interested in you, and then you're like, wait a minute, that's actually not what I wanted. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a part of you that wants to do stuff that's completely different, which is also one of the reasons junkets and things are hard, because the number one question people ask always is how are you similar to your character? In what ways are you like that? And that's exactly why we act. It's I want you to focus on something that's not me, The public us is the opposite of what we do professionally.
Well, it seems like Nina's immaturity is central to this character, and you were so good at set alarms off. Wow.
Do we have to evacuate the building? Do you think there's a fire?
I'm guessing they're run out of vodka or something.
I think maybe we should call
With the W.
time,
Maybe we
see
should
what's
ask somebody.
up, and then.
Let's ask. Hi.
Hi. Little
You set off alarms.
intermission,
Very nicely done.
obviously.
We have experienced an automatic fire alarm on the first floor. The alarm has been proven to be false. Please continue with your daily activity.
Excellent.
Thank you.
This is like the Poseidon Adventure when the thing didn't actually hit. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
The boat's right side up.
Crisis averted. Hi.
Hello again.
We're back.
So Nina, I got to start from scratch. Nina was a teen. Nina's immaturity, significant to this story. I don't even know what the question I was asking when I asked it was, but Nina's immaturity and the growth. To me, the story in great part seems to be Nina becoming a woman,
Yes.
not just particularly finding this role.
Absolutely. Well, it's really the progression of someone becoming an artist, and I thought it was really clever of Darren to set the film in the ballet world, because I feel like it's so can stand in for sort of the larger world for women. You know, where it's sort of this, it's a female art ballet, but yet it's largely male dominated. You know, the directors of the companies, the big companies, are often men, and they keep the women as little girls. They refer to them as kids, as girls, and they keep them having those skinny bodies, which I always thought was just an outcome of dancing that much, but I realized was actually from deprivation. You know, if there are some companies that don't emphasize thinness, and their dancers have busts and hips and are, you know, muscular and beautiful and thin, but you know, not that sort of waifish thing that we usually associate with ballet. So the kinds of companies that do emphasize that are keeping. Sorry. So the kinds of companies that do emphasize the thinness are really keeping women as little girls, and I think that's really where Nina is at the beginning. She's trying to please her director of her company. She's trying to be this this perfect child, you know, for her mother, for her company. And becoming an artist requires her to find pleasure herself, and then to see the world through her own eyes instead of see how the world views her.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's a great controversy, because I seem to be the only person who thinks she doesn't die at the end of this movie.
I'm with you.
Because I think it is her journey is now that she's matured into being an adult.
She's a woman.
She's become a woman.
Which I can tell you, so the last day, which also, I mean, I don't want to, this is a spoiler for
Spoiler
anyone who has not seen the movie, don't listen to this. But, you know, at the end of the movie, when they put the blood on me, some got on my tights, and I was like, Darren, this looks like a period. You know, this is, and he's like, that's intentional. He's like, she's becoming a woman. And then I understood everything, that she has to kill the little girl to become the woman, to become the artist.
And her mother's panic over it, and
Yeah.
it all fits together.
Yeah.
Barbara was telling us that you shot the stuff with your mom in the movie all at the end.
Yes.
After you had already done all the dancing and you'd done all that part of it. Did that make it easier? Did it make it more challenging? Were you someplace clearer in terms of doing those scenes?
It was hard because a lot of the relationship with the mother, because we didn't really rehearse either, was, I mean, I obviously knew what was written in the script, but so much changed on set that, you know, it's hard to know specifically what that relationship was while we were shooting. So it plays so much into her life throughout that, yeah, it's important. It was an important element, but Darren did a really wonderful thing where he had her write me letters. I don't know if she told you about this, that he would give to me on important days. But also Darren was really great personally, like the scene where I call my mom and tell her that I got the part. Barbara was working that day, and she couldn't, on another film, and couldn't be on the phone with me. So Darren did that with me, and it was really great because he was able to just direct me through whatever he was saying to me on the other end of the line, and we discovered so many things. It was really the most exciting day on set because we found all of these things like that they could be competing with each other, that they could be, you know, that she wants to please her mom, but she's also putting her down and she's also insulting her. And there's, even when she's so sort of quiet with everyone else and submissive with her mother, there's this power, because she's the ballerina and her mother's the has-been. And there's this power dynamic that shifts when she's at home, that she's kind of a different person. And we found a lot of that stuff in playing during that particular scene.
So does the script change at that point, or is it just how you play the scenes when you finally get to play them?
It's both. I mean, you know, there were a lot of sort of line kind of tweaks that had to do with how comfortable the words felt coming out of our mouths, that all of the actors sort of contributed to, and a few sort of additions that had to do with ideas of our own, and also, of course, the way we play the scenes, because of these sort of ideas you get from playing while you're on set.
So there's so many layers going on throughout the whole movie. I mean, does Darren protect you from thinking about that, or do you have to be very conscious of each take, what level of it you're working on, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's both. Like, I have my preparation. It's pretty, anal with like, where am I in the story, what's coming before, what's after, where am I in the progression, that I come in knowing for every scene, and then Darren has his whole tweaking, because some scenes ended up in editing being put in different places, so he wanted options for a lot of things, and in certain scenes I had to be both. I would do both my part and Mila's part, because he didn't know how much he would use of each. That like he thought sometimes he would have me in scenes with myself, and sometimes he would have it with Mila, and sometimes it would switch in the middle, and so on certain days I would have to do both parts, and it was just a lot of focus, but Darren was the best partner for that, because we're both like military. We're very like, okay, how do we get this done?
And always in agreement about what was going on, what was actually going on, or what was actually not going on?
Well, he just asked me to decide, make a decision about everything. Is it real? Is it a dream? When do I believe it? When do I question it? He didn't ask me to tell him. He just said, you just make a decision, which is absolutely the truth. You always have to decide what your character's thinking. But for me, it's relatively easy, because I basically believe everything that's happening is true at the time. It's the audience that's like, I don't really know if she's hallucinating or not, but I believe it all.
So when you saw it put together, did it surprise you? Were you surprised with some of the choices?
Very surprised, pleasantly. So, of course, Darren is, absolutely amazing. But I think the major one was because it was all handheld, and because I had just seen The Wrestler, that was his piece. I thought it was going to have much more of a documentary feel, and it's so stylized. That I was just really wrong about that.
My tweet coming out of the movie was that Darren and Libatique had shot the fuck, literally. I said, shot the fuck out of the movie.
Yeah.
Because it is so beautiful. It is so rich and dense and complex visually that it's kind of shocking.
It's really, really well framed and plotted and filmed. It's really phenomenal.
So it seems like you have never had the journey that this character has, or anything close to it, in terms of trying to find a character. You seem to be very kind of in control of what your work choices are, and how you're going to approach things, and not kind of lost in your journey.
I'm always scared, and I'm always lost. Like, I'm always afraid of what I'm doing, and I'm always feel like I can't do it. But that's also like what propels me, and my like method is my way of feeling like I can confront that fear.
Was there a moment or a particular picture on which it changed for you, and your technique became your technique, or you figured it out, or?
I think when I did the Seagull on stage, which was like one of the greatest opportunities I've ever had, and it was short. I mean, it was maybe a month or two rehearsal and a month performance. It was just sort of 3 month stage experience. But because it was with Meryl Streep, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Kevin Kline, John Goodman, Marcia Gay Harden, like all. I'm sorry.
That's the Meryl Streep alarm.
I know. It takes 17.
Episode 3. Next generation. Hello again.
Hello again.
Are you good to go?
Yes, sir.
So I have no idea what we were talking about or where we were.
I couldn't tell you.
So, do you like Darren Aronofsky? Have you ever met Darren Aronofsky? So actually, did we have the conversation about whether or not you die?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Although,
because you
did
had
we finish
the
it?
blood on the leg. No, you told that part of the story. So now we have to like get Darren to finish his part of it. Because so far it's like we're running 50-50.
The truth is that any interpretation is valid. I mean, the ambiguities are, supposed to be ambiguous. They're intentionally open to interpretation, so everything is valid, but that's my point of view.
So is there something in the film that you are particularly proud of? Are you proud of the dancing? Or are you proud of, or is it just one big thing?
It's very, very hard for me to comment about myself at all, so I won't. I'm really, really impressed with Darren's work. I think it's really bold filmmaking. I really admire my fellow performers. I mean, I think Vincent did so much that I had never realized, he was doing. His performance is really very, very strong. And obviously Barbara and Mila and Winona and everyone is really great.
How have you watched it? Have you seen it with an audience, or have you seen it?
I watched it once at Venice on the opening night.
So you saw it with a crowd?
Yeah.
So were they gasping and laughing and doing all those things?
My parents were in the row behind me.
So were they gasping especially, or?
My mother was very vocal.
All the time, or just during certain scenes?
During certain scenes.
She was identifying with, she's taking care of you as a mother.
Oh yeah, I felt bad. They were like, "Please do a comedy next." I was like, "Okay."
Well, there was a sense of you. I mean, sexuality is a big part of this movie and a big part of growing up. Does it make you uncomfortable? Is it really what's in service of the script, and that's just the choice you make when it fits, or?
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. But, I think this movie was so much about how to, in order to become an artist, you have to find pleasure yourself. You have to learn how to please yourself and not be in service of other people, not be pleasing other people all the time. And I thought it was really necessary to show her discovering how to please herself. And I believed in those scenes. They were not comfortable to shoot. They're not comfortable to watch with my parents. But so it goes, and my parents are really cool. So
is that the kind of thing you discuss with Darren and Mark and say, can we change this or change this slightly, or do you just either believe in it or you don't believe in it? And
I think you believe it or you don't. I mean, you have to talk about it before you agree to do the film, or else if I would never show up on the day and be like, you know what, no, I mean, and Darren was very sensitive to it and, was not, never tried to get me to get naked or, anything, and was just sort of like, if you go for it the first time, you don't have to do it again, Well,
is it for you the naked or the intimacy of something like that?
It's both, because, the intimacy, everything's intimate. I mean, being emotional on screen is really intimate. It's very vulnerable to share with other people. It's all intimate. That's part of my job, is to be very exposed to people. But the part I don't like is when what you put out there as part of a story, as art, can be expropriated into something disgusting and objectifying and salacious in another context, which it all inevitably is in today's media. So I'm just aware of that, because yes, I'm interested in being in a really provocative film, and no, I'm not interested in being on a porn site.
Right.
And that's the difference. It's like, how can I, and it's interesting because if you show parts, you're on those sites, and if you do the exact same scene without showing very particular parts, you can avoid it. So that's
It's almost like they've taken that away from actors, like actresses.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think of Barbara Hershey coming up and doing Boxcar Bertha and whatever, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't really that big a deal. I mean, I guess those pictures are on sites too, but
Yeah, but
now it's all very specific and constant.
exactly, exactly, and it's it's exploitative, and I do my best not to provide material for people who are gonna use it in ways that are disrespectful.
Does all that stuff take away from the pleasure of your job?
Absolutely, absolutely, because you just want to do your work, and it's the opposite side, you know. Like it's not important for people to know about me or who I am, and I don't want to be made an object by people. I'm happy to share and give and listen and hear and, you know, have this sort of communication with an audience, which is, you know, what making films is. But yeah, it's the side where it's not comfortable. It's where you try and protect yourself.
I've always been fascinated because when asked, I've always said an actress probably should never take her clothes off, because then it changes what that is, and the interest in, there is a romantic interest, I think, between an audience and a movie star or an actress, and that somehow that becomes sated by seeing somebody naked.
Yeah.
And then it's no longer, that magic, that thing is no longer there. The tension is no longer there. It's like putting out on the first date or something.
Exactly. Exactly. No, it's hard because I mean, I don't find it offensive in films. Like there are certain films that I think is beautiful and necessary and artistic and appropriate, but I don't know. I worked with Greta Gerwig recently, who I absolutely love, and she was saying something that really made sense to me. She said there's such a difference between, like, because she made her own films that she directed, and she said it's such a difference when you're just walking around as like yourself and you're being naked and just walking around and being yourself naked is a very artistic expression, whereas once you're supposed to be like hot and naked or undressed, it's like a whole different thing. And it's true. It's like once people are like looking at you in a judgment way, it stops being art. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, besides yourself and nudity and all this stuff in this particular picture, I mean, do you feel like that the issue of being a woman in the business at this point is still an issue that needs to be explored?
Oh yeah.
Is it hard to find parts that are really good for women and not exploitative and not?
Yeah, well, I don't know about, they're not all necessarily exploitative, but I think the reason is that there's not a lot of women directors still, which is totally natural that male directors would want to make films about men, because as a woman, if I made films, I would want to make them about women. So I totally understand that impulse. And I just think that when there's more women directors, there's going to be more parity in male and female opportunities for acting on screen.
So do you have any interest in directing?
I directed a couple shorts, and I would love to direct more in the future, but it is such a full-time commitment. I keep trying to find a moment in my life where I can really commit, 2 years to just do this, because it's a much bigger chunk of time than obviously acting.
And 2 years if you're lucky, because in this case, 7 years in this case?
Exactly. Although Darren did other things on the way.
Yeah.
I mean, he did The Fountain and The Wrestler from the time we started talking about this to the time we filmed it.
But it is an interesting thing of having your life taken over by something for 2 or 3 years, and really that being the only thing, and then having to present it on a Friday night and hope that you survive it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And especially when you see how wrong it can go too. Everyone starts out wanting to make a beautiful film. No one's like, we're going to make a bad movie. Like everyone, that's why it's like so hard to, trash anyone's movie, because it's like, okay, sometimes it didn't work out, but like, just leave it alone.
Right.
It's like, let's recommend really hard the things that we love, and the things that don't work out, it's like everyone did their hardest work and really, really put their souls into it, and sometimes it just doesn't work.
I've suggested that critics should all be forced to work as a PA
Yeah.
on at least one movie, just to see what the people are, how hard people are working.
It's a good idea because it's all consuming.
Do you read criticism of yourself?
No, I used to, and then I realized it wasn't helpful.
Positive or negative? Mm-hmm. It's just a distraction.
Yeah, I can't. I don't look at anything anymore that's written, whether it's like interviews or it's also just too much focus on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I am far from the center of the world, and I don't need to I need to read about other things. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of really good things to read about, and I know about myself. And if someone makes a mistake about me, I'm just going to get upset. So, mm-hmm. Or if they say something negative, I'm going to get upset. And if they say something nice, that's friendly. But I also don't need to care. I don't need to base my sense of self on what strangers' opinions of me are. It's important to me that my friends and my family, mm-hmm. Think that I'm behaving correctly, and they'll let me know if I'm out of line, and everyone else's opinions, it's not my business.
So do you make a conscious effort to get outside of the bubble between films and when you're not working?
Yeah, and even when I am working, I'm just in my work. I just, mm-hmm. I'm focused on that and reading about that, and then when I'm out, when I'm not working, I'm with my friends and my family, and reading and seeing art and traveling and trying to meet people and
not being Nina.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Immediately.
So does Nina stick with you in any way at this point, or have you done the work and now you're seeing the product that you love? But does she hang out with you?
It took a longer time to shake off than I'd happily admit, because I like to, as soon as I'm done work, just be back to myself. Mm-hmm. But this stuck with me for a while, and also it's one of those things when you work a lot and then as soon as you stop you get sick. It was absolutely that. My body just sort of gave out. It sort of held together for the film, and then when it was done, I was broken. So it's taken a long time to sort of get back to. I feel like I'm in a good place now. So.
And did you put on a little weight from that role?
Oh yeah. The next day, I was like, pasta. Yeah.
Which is not that much weight for you.
Well, I'm a small person, so
yes.
But this is my happy weight.
Happy weight.
That was my sad weight.
So you'll be happy spending the next few months dealing with everybody telling you how great you are in this movie?
Oh, I'll be happy eating my Thanksgiving and Hanukkah meals.
But you've been through it before with Closer, where there was all this attention and the nomination and everything.
It's everyone's dream to have people be moved by the work you put out. And we all worked on this so hard together. It's such a team, and it's fun to have all of our work collectively, entertaining people, which is your goal.
You get to have Thanksgiving every time you see everybody.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
again.
so much. I know, again.